Good day everyone. Myself Tripti Mishra. Today we are going to discuss class 9th chapter number 2 is matter around us pure, some of the NCERT exemplar questions. Question number 1 is which of the following statements are true for pure substances? First, pure substances contain only one kind of particles. Pure substances may be compounds or mixtures. Pure substances have the same composition throughout. And fourth one is pure substances can be exemplified by all elements other than nickel. Now one by one we will consider each of the option. First is pure substances contain only one kind of particles. Yes, it is correct. Pure substances contain only one kind of particles. So, first one is correct. Second is pure substances may be compounds or mixture. Here, mixture is not the correct. If it is the mixture, then it is not the pure substance. So mixtures are different from the pure substance. So this option will be wrong. False. True substances have the same composition throughout. Yes, pure substances has the same composition throughout. So third one is also true. Fourth one is pure substances can be exemplified by all elements other than nickel. So here nickel is not any the special feature for the pure substance. So this option is also false. So here option number 1 and 3 are correct. Now in A, B, C, D, all four options we will see that B1 is correct, in which the option are given first and third. A pure substance is one which is made up of only one kind of atoms or molecules. They have the same composition throughout. So the option B is correct. Question number 2 is rusting of an article made up of iron is called A. corrosion, and it is a physical as well as chemical change. No, that is wrong, because we can say it corrosion, but it is not a physical change, it is a chemical change, because during the rusting iron changes into some other compounds. It react with the environmental gases and moisture and convert into the iron oxides and hydroxides. That's why it is a chemical change, not the physical change. That's why A option is wrong. So B is dissolution and it is a physical change. Then B is also dissolution. It is not called dissolution. That is also wrong, and physical change also wrong. So B option is also wrong. C is corrosion and it is a chemical change. Yes, C is correct. This process is called corrosion, and this type of change is a chemical change where the new substances are formed. And now here last one, D is also wrong. Here it is also written dissolution. That's why it is wrong. So here correct answer is the C, rusting of an iron made up of an article made up of an iron is called corrosion. Corrosion is a chemical change because rust is a chemical compound, hydrated iron oxide Fe2O3 H2O, which is totally different from the element iron. Corrosion is 4Fe plus 3 oxygen plus water. It will give 2 Fe2O3 X H2O, X number of water molecules. So physical changes are those changes in which no new substances are formed. The substance do not change their identity. They can be easily returned to their original form by some physical processes. Melting of ice, glowing of an electric bulb, breaking of glass tumbler, etc. are the physical change. On the other hand, chemical changes are those changes in which new substances are formed. The substances involved change their identity and they get converted into entirely new substances which cannot be returned to their original form. Burning of paper, rusting of iron, burning of magnesium wire, etc. are the chemical changes. Question number 3 is, this is a question based on the concentration numerical. The teacher instructed 3 students A, B and V respectively to prepare a 50% mass by volume solution of sodium hydroxide NaOH. A dissolved 50 gram of NaOH in 100 ml of water. B dissolved 50 gram of NaOH in 100 gram water and of water, while we dissolved 50 gram of NaOH in water to make 100 ml of solution. Which one of them has made the desired solution and why? Now here three students are there, those who are preparing the same solution by 3 different method. Who is preparing correctly, that we have to find out. So here student V has prepared or made the solution correctly, because 50% mass by volume. Mass by volume means here we have to take the solute in the gram or kilogram, and total solution should be 100 ml. Mass by volume means 50 gram of solute for every 100 ml of solution and not in 100 ml of solvent. So total solution should be 100 ml. For making this total 100 ml, we have to dissolve 50 gram solute into water and make the total solution 100 ml. So mass per volume percentage is equals to mass of solute divided by volume of solution. Here it is not the volume of solvent, it is volume of solution. Multiply by 100. So we want 50%, then we should dissolve 50 gram and the total solution should be 100 ml. So the total solution should be 100 ml into 100, it will be equal to 50 ml. Student A dissolved 50 gram of NaOH in 100 ml of water, which is incorrect, because here total solution will be more than 100 ml. And student B dissolved for 50 gram of NaOH in 100 gram of water or solvent, which is also incorrect, because here it is using the water in 100 gram, which is mass by mass. We are taking in the mass by mass, but in the question it is given mass by volume. So this is also incorrect. So here the correct process used by the student V. Question number 4 is, tincture of iodine has antiseptic properties. This solution is made by dissolving. As we know, tincture of iodine, it is made by the dissolving of iodine, which is have the antiseptic properties iodine, and it is dissolved into the alcohol. So just we will see in the out of 4 options, first one is iodine in potassium iodide, that is wrong. Iodine is Vaseline, that is also wrong. Iodine in water, that is also wrong. Fourth one, D, is iodine in alcohol. This is the correct answer. A tincture of iodine is made by dissolving iodine in alcohol. Question number 5 is, which of the following are homogeneous in nature? Ice, wood, soil and air. Here we know ice is made up of the water, and water is a homogeneous and also the pure substance and homogeneous. That's why ice will make the homogeneous. Wood is not a pure substance, it is a type of mixture, we can say xylem, phloem, some other vessels and tissues are there. That's why wood is a heterogeneous, and that's why it is heterogeneous in nature. Soil is also heterogeneous in nature, because some are bigger particles, some are smaller particles, and germs are also there, so that is also heterogeneous. Air is also homogeneous in nature, because it is a mixture, but it is a homogeneous mixture. So here the option first and fourth is correct. So out of A, B, C, D, we will see that in the C option it is first and fourth, both are there in the C option. So C option is correct. Option 1, ice, and fourth, air are homogeneous in nature as their particles are not distinctly visible. A homogeneous mixture has a uniform composition throughout its mass. It has no visible boundaries of separation between its various constituents. Example, air, sugar solution, and brass, etc. A heterogeneous mixture does not have a uniform composition throughout its mass. It has visible boundaries of separation between its various constituents. For example, soil, wood, blood, etc. are the heterogeneous mixture. Question number 6 is, which of the following are physical changes? Here we should know physical changes means in which new substance is not formed, only the size or shape may be changed, but new substance is not formed. Then first is melting of iron metal. During the melting, only iron changes from solid to liquid state. New substance is not formed. That's why it is a physical change. Rusting of iron is a chemical change, because there is new substances, iron oxide are formed, and that's why it is a chemical changes. Bending of an iron rod, that is also a physical change, where only the shape and size is changed and not new substance is not formed. Drawing a wire of iron metal, that is also a physical change, because drawing the wire is also a physical change, only the shape and size of the iron is changing, any new substance is not formed. So out of these ABCD option, first, third and fourth all are involved in the C option. Here in the C option, all three are involved in the C option. Melting of iron metal, bending of an iron rod, and drawing a wire of iron metal are physical changes, because in three process iron changes its form, not the chemical composition. In rusting of iron, its chemical composition is changed. Question number 7 is, you are given two samples of water labeled as A and B. Sample A boils at 100 degrees centigrade and sample B boils at 102 degrees Celsius. Which sample of water will not freeze at 0 degrees Celsius? Comment. Now, which is pure water that will be boil at 100 degrees Celsius and freeze at 0 degrees Celsius, and which is having some impurity that will not boil at 100 degrees Celsius, maybe below or above it will boil. Below 100 degrees Celsius or above 100 degrees Celsius it will boil. And also freezing point will also be different from 0 degrees Celsius. So here we can say A boils at 100 degrees Celsius. It means A is pure water. And B boils at 102 degrees Celsius. It means the sample of water which is in B sample of water is not pure. So it is not boiling of 100 degrees Celsius. 100 degrees Celsius, it is boiling at 102 degrees Celsius. So it will also not freeze at 0 degrees Celsius, maybe some below or above the 0 degrees Celsius it will freeze. So answer we can write, sample B will not freeze at 0 degrees Celsius as it is impure water. It is because sample B boils at 100 degrees Celsius while the boiling point of the pure water is 100 degrees Celsius. It means this sample contains impurities. Only pure substances has sharp melting points. Question number 8 is two substances A and B are made to react to form a third substance A2B. According to the following reaction, 2A plus B gives A2B. Which of the following statement concerning this reaction are correct? First one is the product A2B shows the properties of substance A and B. No, this is incorrect. When a substance is forming a compound, then the compound will not show the properties of its elements. So A to B will not show the properties of A and B. So it is incorrect sentence. The product will always have a fixed composition. Yes, it will have a fixed composition. It is correct. Always whatever the compound is forming, always its composition will be fixed according to the ratio A to B, 2:1. The product so formed cannot be classified as a compound. It is also incorrect because it can be classified as a compound. Here A to B is a compound. The product so formed is an element. That is also incorrect. It is not an element, it is a compound. So all of these 1, 2, 3, 4 option first is third and fourth, 3 are wrong, and out of ABCD option we can see first, third and fourth are in option C. So C1 will be the answer. A to B is a compound made up of two elements A and B in a fixed ratio. The properties of a compound A to B are entirely different from those of its constituent elements A and B. The composition of a compound is fixed. Question number 9 is two chemical species X and Y combine together to form a product P, which contains both X and Y. X plus Y gives P. P contains X and Y both. X and Y cannot be broken down into simpler substances by simple chemical reactions. It means X and Y are the elements. That's why they cannot be broken down further into the reactions. Which of the following concerning the species X, Y and P are correct? First one is P is a compound. Yes, P contains X and Y both. That's why P is a compound. This is correct. Second option is X and Y are compounds. No, as it is given, they cannot be broken into the simpler substances. It means they are not the compound, they are elements. Third one option is X and Y are elements. Yes, they are elements. That's why they cannot be broken down into simpler substances by simple chemical reactions. And P has a fixed composition. Yes, that is also correct. When the two elements combine and makes a compound, it has a fixed composition. So here first, third and fourth option are correct. Out of A, B, C, D option, D option first, third and fourth. D option first, third and fourth. So D is the right answer. In this reaction, X and Y cannot be broken down into simpler substances by chemical reactions. Therefore, X and Y are elements. A compound is a substance made up of two or more elements chemically combined in a fixed proportion by mass. Therefore, P is a compound having a fixed composition. Question number 10 is suggest separation techniques one would need to employ to separate the following mixture. Mercury and water. As we know, mercury is also a metal, but it is at the room temperature, it is found in the liquid state. So water is also a liquid in liquid state. Here both of them can be separated by the using of decantation process by separating funnel. So here we can use decantation by separating funnel, as the separation of two immiscible liquids by a separating funnel depends on the difference of their densities. Mercury is heavier than water, therefore forms the lower layer and separated from water. Downside, in the separating funnel, lower layer will be of mercury and upper layer will be of water. So as we will open the knob of the separating funnel, first the mercury will come and can be collected in a beaker or jar, and later on we can change the beaker and we can collect the water. Now next is potassium chloride and ammonium chloride. Here, as we know, ammonium chloride is sublimable substance, so we can separate both of them by the process sublimation. So here correct answer will be sublimation. Third one is common salt, water and sand. So first we have to separate common salt, water and sand. First we will dissolve all three mixture into the water. Then sand will settle down and salt will be dissolved into the water. The settled down sand can be separated by decantation, and after decantation we can also use the filtration process. Then it will be totally sand will be separated. After that we can use the process of evaporation. By the evaporation, salt can be separated by the water. So here we will use two processes. First is decantation, filtration, and filtration, and later on we will use including this evaporation also we have to reuse. Kerosene oil, water and salt. Here kerosene oil, water and salt, if they are mixed, then salt will be mixed with the water, and kerosene oil and the mixture of water and salt, they will make two layer. So first we can use them separating funnel, and by the separating funnel we can separate kerosene oil first, and after that water will be in the salt, and that will be can be separated by the process of evaporation. So that is the different separating techniques we have to use to separate these mixtures. So students, for applying the knowledge in the different situations given in the questions, you should do the practice of some important questions, and that's why I given some of the important NCERT exemplar questions in this video. I think it will be beneficial for you. As you like this video, share this video with other classmates, and most important, subscribe my YouTube channel NCERT Science Mantra. Thanks for watching the video.